During the Holocaust, there's a young boy, Dovid. One night he's sleeping in Auschwitz. He feels somebody tapping his shoulder, turns around. He didn't have the power to get up fully, but he sees him a little bit. The man says, I would like to ask you a favor. I am the Dayan from Weizen, the Weizen Dayan. As soon as the boy heard that, he stood up. He had great honor for him. He had great respect. Weizen Dayan came to speak to him. He said, we have a secret little sukkah here in Auschwitz. I need to be able to make kiddush and have lechem mishnah. I heard that you have some kind of connection with the supplies. Could you take for me 2 pieces of bread? I will make kiddush and I will give you back 1 piece after I'm finished. Dovid said to him, I will do it if you will take me to the sukkah and you will allow me to sit together to get the mitzvah. The Weizen Dayan said, I am posek the halacha. I decide the halacha that you are completely exempt. You are young. You have a whole life to live. I am older already. It doesn't matter. The boy held his ground. He said, if you let me, I will bring the bread. But that's my condition. The Weizen Dayan had no choice but to allow him. That night, the first night of Sukkot, the boy went to bed, or whatever you call it, that they allowed them to sleep at night. The Weizen Dayan came, woke him up, chatzos, and took him. They both went into this little sukkah, and b'mesiras nefesh, had kiddush, hamotzi, and then ran out. The boy was from the Sheres HaPleita. He was a survivor. He lived. How great it was that he lived. And he said no matter how many times he became a successful businessman, and he had big sukkah with all the amenities and everything, he never had the simcha. He ever had the great oineg, the enjoyment and the pleasure that he had in Auschwitz when he sat in that little sukkah with the Weizen Dayan. And so the years passed. One day he comes into shul, and there's an elderly man that comes in. Dovid's standing there, and the elderly man began to say, it was during the Yom Noraim, during these days, and he began to say an inspirational speech, Divrei Hisoirus. And he said, you should know that Jews, even in Auschwitz, in the shadow of death, Begayed Salmoves, they were Mekayim mitzvahs, that they did mitzvahs and they learned. I want to tell you, we even had a little sukkah. In one night, I asked a young boy, and he began to tell the story about the 2 pieces of bread, and that the young boy made the condition that I'll only give you the bread if you'll take me into the sukkah. A young boy willing to sacrifice his life. Can you imagine? For one yeshiva sukkah, that he was exempt, that he was potter. And he began to tell the story. And Dovid starts to go up closer and closer. And he looks at the Weizen Dayan. And he says to him, Rabbi, I'm Dovid. I'm the one that you're telling the story about. The Weizen Dayan looks. He says, you survived. They hugged each other. And they kissed each other. And the Weizen Dayan showed him in the Shilas and Shuvas exactly where the entire story was spelled out. Mesiras Nefesh is what Bnei Yisrael has. It's the key to our survival.